Hello and welcome to the Sweet Southern Sports Podcast, where we talk about SEC sports. Today we'll be talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks football 2025 season predictions. Let's start off with the keys to a strong season for the Hogs. So first off, physicality. So Coach Pittman has been on the hot seat. He's really struggled these past few seasons. They consistently keep going 7-6 or lower, so they've been really struggling. But he always preaches physicality, being a former offensive line coach. So I think physicality through all levels of the team is going to be a big deal for the Hogs. They don't always have the talent to beat others, but they can win in those other areas. So it's going to be really important that they're physical. Smart plays as well. The team does not have the ability to hurt themselves. If they want to win football games, it's going to be really important that they play really sound, consistent football. The Hogs also need to make games close. So, with their schedule being an SEC schedule, it's super important that they can make just some games competitive and then just hopefully the ball goes their way. So, let's look at their schedule. First, they start off against Alabama A&M, and then they have Arkansas State next. They'll go 2-0 in those two games. And then they have at Ole Miss, at Memphis, and then versus Notre Dame. At Ole Miss, I think will be a struggle for the Hogs. Ole Miss just has an exceptional offense that's pretty explosive, and especially going on the road, I think they'll struggle here. So I'll put that as an L there. And then at Memphis. At Memphis will be a tough game for them. I just feel like when it comes to those keys to a strong season, I think if they are able to just execute those, they'll find a way to beat Memphis. I think it will come down to the wire. Memphis usually plays team's pretty tough, but I think they'll find a way to win. So the Hogs will open their season 3-1. But then they have versus Notre Dame. So Notre Dame going to the Razorback Stadium is absolutely crazy. Very weird scheduling thing that you usually don't see. I think Notre Dame's going to absolutely obliterate the team. But there will be a lot of hype around it, especially if they can go 3-1. So the Arkansas fans will be excited to have Notre Dame come in. But I think Notre Dame finishes them off there, where now Arkansas would go 3-2 to open the year. So after their bye week, they have a really tough next few slate of games. So they have at Tennessee versus Texas A&M versus Auburn and then versus Mississippi State. I do see that they lose to at Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Auburn, but I do think they get the win over Mississippi State. When it comes to the Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Auburn game, it really just comes down to talent. I think all those teams just really out talent Arkansas pretty bad, and they have some really deep rosters. I think it's going to put a lot of stress on the Hogs, and they're going to struggle to have the ability to win those games. Against Mississippi State, they have a high possibility in that one. I think Pittman will get this one and have his guys fired up, as they're really going to be fighting for Pittman's job this season. I think they'll get that done. And then they have another bye week, and then after that, I think they lose to LSU, they lose to Texas, and they lose to Missouri to close the year. So when it comes to at LSU, it's just going to be way too much for the Razorbacks. I think LSU is going to be really pushing for a great season this year. Same with Texas. I think those are two of the top teams in the country. I don't think Arkansas is going to have any shot against those. Maybe against LSU because it's a rivalry game, but if the teams show up, Arkansas won't really have a chance. The Missouri game should be competitive. Missouri is kind of one of those question mark teams, as they just have a lot of guys who haven't stepped up yet. So we'll have to kind of see what the transfers and everyone does with Missouri. But I think Arkansas will end up losing to Missouri at the end of the day. So after all this said, Arkansas has a really tough year. They go 4-8, 1-7 in conference. Best case scenario would be 7-5. They do have a really athletic quarterback. He's an absolute monster with Green, but when it comes to it, I just don't think it will be enough. Worst case scenario would be 2-10. They have so many losable games in the schedule. Really tough SEC schedule. Maybe one of the top in the country. Probably the top five hardest in the country. So it's gonna be a tough season for the Hogs, but hopefully they can find some wins. But I have them going 4-8 and get 1-7 in conference. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe and look out for more video content.